It was one of those gray Seattle evenings where the rain fell in steady sheets, tapping against the windows in a rhythm that made the whole house feel cozier. I had invited two of my closest friends, Megan and Lily, over for a game night. Nothing fancy, just pizza, hot chocolate, and a stack of old board games we hadn't touched in years. We laughed as we set up the table, remembering childhood rivalries over Monopoly and long debates about Scrabble words that may or may not have been real. "Claire," Megan teased, "if you cheat at Uno again, we're going to revoke your game night privileges." "I don't cheat," I protested, grinning. "I just play strategically." The room was warm, the candles flickered softly, and it felt like the perfect antidote to the dreary weather outside. And then, there was a knock at the door. The three of us froze for a moment. I wasn't expecting anyone else. I opened the door, and there stood Ethan, my next-door neighbor. He looked a little sheepish, holding an umbrella that dripped rain onto the porch. "Hey, Claire. Sorry to bother you. Power just went out in my place. Do you mind if I hang here for a bit until it comes back?" I blinked. Ethan and I had only exchanged quick greetings before, polite waves across the driveway, short chats about trash pickup or the weather. But tonight, with the rain pouring and his house dark, he looked more like someone stranded. "Of course," I said quickly. "Come in before you freeze." Ethan stepped inside, shaking off his umbrella. Megan and Lily waved at him, surprised but welcoming. "I don't want to intrude," he said. "Just figured your lights were on and—" "You're not intruding," I assured him. "We were just starting game night. You can join us if you want." His eyebrows rose. "Game night, huh? I haven't done that in years." "Perfect," Megan said, already shuffling cards. "We could use a fourth player." And just like that, Ethan went from being a neighbor I barely knew to an unexpected guest at our table. At first, it was a little awkward. Ethan sat stiffly, unsure if he belonged. But once the game started, the tension dissolved. We began with Uno. Ethan, it turned out, had a mischievous streak. "Reverse," he announced smugly, tossing down a card. "Oh no, he's one of those players," Lily groaned. Within minutes, we were all laughing, accusing each other of sabotage, and plotting revenge moves. By the time Ethan shouted, "Uno," with a triumphant grin, he looked nothing like the quiet neighbor I thought I knew. He looked like a friend. After a few rounds of games, we ordered pizza and gathered in the living room. Between bites of pepperoni slices, we started telling stories. Childhood embarrassments, awkward teenage moments, funny college memories. Ethan surprised us all with his story about joining a dance class in high school to impress a girl, only to trip over his own feet and knock down an entire row of students. We laughed so hard tears rolled down our cheeks. "You're full of surprises," I told him. He shrugged with a smile. "Guess I just needed the right audience." At some point, Megan found an old Bluetooth speaker and queued up a playlist from our college days. When a familiar upbeat song came on, Lily jumped up. "Dance break." We groaned, but she pulled us up one by one. Even Ethan wasn't spared. At first, he protested, but then he started moving, surprisingly well. His earlier dance class disaster clearly hadn't stopped him from learning a few steps since. We all laughed, dancing clumsily around the living room. Rain still pouring outside but completely forgotten. It wasn't about skill. It was about letting go. Later, after the music softened and the games wound down, we sat around sipping hot chocolate. The room was dim, lit only by candles and the soft glow of string lights. Ethan looked around and said, "This is the best night I've had in a long time." I didn't realize how much I missed just being with people. No phones, no distractions. Just laughing. His words struck me. I realized I had missed it too. Life had become so busy, so digital, that simple nights like this felt rare. Megan nodded. Sometimes the best nights are the unplanned ones. Around midnight, the power in Ethan's house came back on. He stood stretching. "Well," he said, "I should probably head back. Thank you all for letting me crash your night." "Anytime," I said sincerely. "You were the life of the party." He smiled. "Careful, or I'll show up every Saturday." "Do it." Lily cheered. "The more the merrier." And just like that, something shifted. The following week, Ethan showed up again, this time invited. We made it a tradition. Saturday nights turned into game nights, sometimes with neighbors, sometimes just the four of us. We played new games, tried cooking challenges, even watched movies together. The rain outside became less of a backdrop and more of a soundtrack to our growing friendship. And every time Ethan knocked on the door, I remembered that first night, the night he stepped out of the storm and joined us. Looking back, I realized something. That night wasn't just about games or pizza. It was about opening doors. Literally, when I let Ethan in from the rain. And figuratively, when we all opened ourselves to laughter, connection, and new friendships. Sometimes the best nights aren't the ones you plan. Sometimes they happen when you least expect it. When someone knocks on your door, and you say yes. Years later, we still talk about that night. The night the rain poured, the power went out, and a neighbor became a friend. He opened the door, and we opened ours. And together, we found an amazing time worth remembering forever.